Hey, Ugly Mug fans. I am here with Annie Collins, one of our clients turned friends with Freedom Travel. Annie, you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit more about Freedom Travel?
Sure. Well, my name's Annie Collins. I am the owner and travel architect for Freedom Travel, and we do custom international travel. That's our focus. Um, and it's been a wild ride for 30 years, having a lot of fun.
Yeah. So one of the quotes you recently told me is you're like, as much as I want to stick my head in the sand, I'm not going to. So what have you done to just not be stuck? I mean, obviously being in the travel industry right now is very, very difficult.
It's it that's an understatement. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And when I get stuck like that, two things come to mind, and I use them all the time, and I hope they're useful to others. And one of them is a classic um, Quaker quote. And that quote goes, "When you pray, move your feet." Now think about that. You
Get into
can't just sit
action.
there and pray and go, "Oh, please." When you pray, move your feet. And the other one is another classic, and it goes, um, "The best defense is a good offense." And I take that seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. How have you used those quotes, especially during this hard time?
Well, the first thing I did was, I remember it well, it was March 13th, Friday the 13th, when I
Okay.
actually, of course, when I actually got, all this information that I'd been sort of dismissing a little bit, came to light, and I became very nervous about it, and I started to realize we were in a very serious situation. And I decided I would do two things. One was I was going to get up every morning, I was going to get dressed, I was going to put my makeup on, maybe I'll exercise, maybe I won't. I'm going to go to the office. That was the number one thing I was going to do. I am not going to let this keep me from going to work. And the second thing I was going to do was to be proactive. I was going to take that second quote, "The best defense is a good offense," and I was going to say, okay, we're going to go out and we are going to be very proactive with our people. 99% of my clients are return clients or repeat clients. So they're become, from a traveler, they become a friend, like you and I are now. And so that campaign was a lot of fun to work on.
Yeah. Um, well, I have to say, unless you're just completely faking it, I think you've also done a good job too of just being positive, not allowing this to take you down, but just, do with, accept it for what it is and move forward. And I think you've done an excellent job at that as well.
Well, you don't see me crying on my back porch in my glass of wine.
I'm sure you're not the only small business owner doing that right now.
I don't do it on video. But yeah, so that campaign, part of what helps you, what heals you, is working. At least for me. I feel bad in a way for the people who are retired and don't have work to do. In my case, I do have work to do. And so I took um, that idea, and I worked with you guys. Ugly Mug is awesome to work with. And so we sat down and we came up with a two-pronged approach. The first one was we were going to do a direct mail. I want to touch every single one of my travelers, and I want something in the mailbox. They don't all do Facebook, they don't all do emails, but they all get a card and they all open their mail. And so we came up with this postcard,
Yeah.
and it says, "Relationships aren't canceled, connecting isn't canceled, and dreaming of your next trip isn't canceled. Call me, I love to talk travel." And that went out, and I knew right away that my people felt the love, they felt the support, and that we were going to be in this, and we were going to do something about it. And so it felt good to me, and I think it felt really good to my clients.
Absolutely.
And the second thing we did was, I realized that I have people all over the world. It didn't occur to me until later that this might be of interest to my travelers as well. So I immediately started with Carmine, who is I've been working with for, I don't know, 10 or 15 or 12 years or something like that. And he's in Italy, and I thought, well, let me find out from him, because I'm looking for a glimmer of hope. That was my real intention. Was all I get is the doom and gloom, but I want to hear from Carmine. What do you think? What's going on? So once he responded, we talked, and I said, well, how would that work if we talked to Gerard in Ireland, and George in Portugal, and John in the UK, and Elise in Belize, and and the list went on. And so I emailed everybody, and they were thrilled to tell me what was happening. So you guys, Ugly Mug, put together this wonderful campaign, and we sent this out. And we touched everybody by putting on a Facebook, on an email, and it goes on the blog. And it's linked back to our international advisors on the website. So what happened with that simple little thought, I wonder what Carmine is thinking right now, I wonder what Gerard is doing in Ireland, turned into something really quite wonderful. That campaign ticked 3 boxes. It was informational. It showcased the depth and breadth of the people that we know internationally. And by the way, those people will help you. If you're on a trip and you're in trouble, all I have to do is call Carmine up, and Carmine will come to the rescue every single time.
I love that. Yeah.
So you have that to showcase. And the third thing is that hopefully the travelers realize, oh, wait a minute, I didn't think about Portugal. Yes, Portugal would be another place to go. Or Ireland. Oh yeah, I always wanted to go to Ireland. So that's what we did. I started with, when you pray, move your feet. The best defense is a good offense. Moved right into get up, get going, get to work, and start marketing and start showcasing, and then putting together these 2 campaigns we just talked about. So that's.
And I think on another note too, just for any small business owner, the tendency might be, oh, poor pitiful me, I'm having to go through this. But to look at it from that perspective, that there's people literally across the globe that are going through the exact same thing. I think it's super interesting to hear the perspective and how it's affecting everybody, when, at the end of the day, it's basically affecting everybody pretty similarly.
One of the things that's happened in my lifetime is that the world has gotten very small in one sense, in that we become what we talked and hoped about doing, as being one universe, as opposed to individuals. And so we're seeing that with this pandemic, that we are all in this. When we say all in it, we don't mean Louisiana, we don't mean the United States, we mean the world. We're all in this. And and just, to kind of finish up and let you know that get depressed and I get down, and as I said, I'm happy to cry in my glass of wine. I try not to water it down. I try to miss the wine, but for the most part, I get really bummed and depressed as well. And when that happens, I go into my zone, my travel zone, and I start to think of the places that I've been, the stories that I can tell, the happy moments, the times I traveled with my children, my grandchildren, my friends, the restaurants, the tour guides, the time I got lost, the time I got scared. And I just go into that zone, and I think about where I want to go next.
Yes, so that's what's keeping you positive through all of this?
It's travel.
Yeah, absolutely. So quick question for you though too, how does that look with your clients right now? Are you just kind of postponing trips, or what does that look like?
Well, it's either postponing or canceling. Most of them have moved their trip, have been able to move their trip. They've been thinking about this, they've been saving for it for a long time, and they've paid for it. Most of them had already paid for it. So the ones that were going in March, April, May, and even early June have moved their trip. And so, but the rest of the business, and that's a big job to do, but that's okay. Some of them have canceled, and that we've already talked a little bit about that. But as far as business going forward, in my business, I'm not a retail, so the doors don't open up and you come in and buy, a comforter or a pitcher or something like that. My people are planning their trips 6, 8 a year out. So what I'm looking for right now is this week and the next week and a half to really just continue with the cleanup and make sure that all of the travelers are in good shape. They've got their insurance, they've got all their documents, we've got everything moved. And then I'm going to reach out to a lot of folks who said, I just want to put this on hold, and we'll start planning their trip for next April and March.
Yeah.
And so we'll get them in the pipeline, and they'll be dreaming about something wonderful.
And hopefully sooner rather than later we'll all be on planes traveling the country again soon.
Oh, hallelujah, let's do it.
Yes. Well,
I just want to get in my car and go to Virginia or something.
I know, anywhere except for being at home 24/7. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Annie. It's always a pleasure to get to chat with you, and I always enjoy your perspective.
Thank you, Hannah.
I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.